Morning. Good morning, replay viewers. Thank you for all the hearts and shares that you guys have been doing. It still isn't tracking them all. I don't know why. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Linda. Nina. Good morning. Hey, Tanya. This was another one of our... Hi, Susan. Hi, Mom. Good morning. Let me turn some more light on. Okay. I was a little slow getting around this morning. Yeah. Keep calm and trust the universe. Those are great colors, aren't they? Hey, Aaron. Hi, everybody. Too much driving. I was sore. I'm sore today. So I was just a little slow getting started, and then Heath made this, a full spread breakfast and coffee and all that. Now I need to go back to bed. Need to go take a nap now after that. Thanks for the hearts and shares. Hey, Michelle. I'm glad everybody got home safely. I would have been on sooner, but I cannot find one of my Oracle decks, if you can believe that. Like one of my favorite ones. I can't find it. Don't know where it's at. Wasted a lot of time this morning looking for it. Oh yeah, breakfast was good. Hash browns, turkey, chicken sausage, turkey sausage, the whole thing. It was fabulous. I know. I don't know where. I mean, it's not like me to misplace an Oracle deck, so I don't know where it's hiding. Today's our big magic day. As most people who are spending a lot of time on these personal development scopes and things have seen, synchronicities start to really just go through the roof. And it's been happening for so many months now that it's almost becoming just commonplace. Throw a question out in your head, and before you even get the question really formulated, you've run across something on Facebook or somebody sends you an email that answers it. And that's the way life should be. We just have been out of touch for so long that it seems unusual to us. But that's really the way it should be. Yeah, we kind of expect it now. And that sense of expectation then just increases the probabilities that we'll have more of it. It's not that those things don't happen. We just don't see them. We're not really in line with them, so we don't see them as much. But life is always trying to talk with us, to have a conversation. Our lives are conversations with all that is, or God, or whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call that magical mess, other part of ourselves that we can't see. No, today's not Big Magic Day, is it? Isn't today the Tao Day? Yes, I have the wrong books. Well, I'm going to mess this up. We're going to have 3 days of big magic. Because I don't know where the books are, and now I'm too lazy to get up and go find them. So what did I talk about yesterday? Oh, it's big magic today. Okay, good. I was like, that's weird. I'm really tired. And my coffee hasn't really kicked in yet, so I apologize. You're right. Thank you. Thank you guys for keeping me on track. So I was like, what? Wait, this doesn't look right. So we were talking about last time about the importance of defining yourself and... Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'm glad you guys are keeping track. Because clearly I lose my place sometimes. We were talking about the importance of declaring an intention. In the level 2 desire map, we talk a lot about the word goal, and most people have trouble with that word goal because it's been used on them in a punitive way. And we've been taught to set goals in ways that don't work for us, and so we set ourselves up for failure, not even realizing it. I mean, we're following the prescription, we're following the instructions, but there's too many missing pieces, and so traditional goal setting almost always, for sensitive people and creative people, is just a setup for failure. So we talk about changing that word from, because it still is important to pick a direction. I mean, you wouldn't just randomly sail in the ocean. I mean, I guess you could, but you might end up just going in circles and it's all fine and everything's good, but there's certainly nothing wrong with picking for me, the word is target. I'm setting my sails for a specific target. Target means if I miss the mark, I just regroup and begin again. Whereas if I set a goal and I fail at that goal, then I set up a whole stinking cycle of failure. Failure thoughts, failure stories, and stuff like that. That's not even necessary. When you're picking a goal by getting in touch with what she's talking about with the creative life force, you pick what you want, but you stay flexible in how you get there, and you anchor in how you think it's going to feel, how you anticipate it's going to feel, and you do what you can to center in that. And then those synchronicities that we started out talking about, I like target too. Some people use intention. Kim was using, I hope it's okay to share this stuff, next step, the step that she needs to take, quest. Yeah, I think there was another one. But just different words that give you to fit this different way of approaching a target. Something that you'd like to experience, something that you'd like to achieve. Understanding that matching the feeling of it before it actually happens is what helps you make it happen. And you feel happy in the process of it happening instead of stressing yourself out and getting a lot of gray hair and extra stress wrinkles over worrying about how you're going to make it happen. Those synchronicities that we talk about, that we all experience. It just clicked in your head. The nickel dropped. Linda, the nickel dropped in your head. Madness is the feeling that goal has an ending. Absolutely, Roseanne. That's well said. Intention is more about the process versus the outcome. Yeah. Intention to me sounds more like action, and target sounds, it's like I would experience intention in getting to the target. So it's just a different way of looking at things. But the synchronicities that we talk about, we can take control of. Linda's like, I get it now. She had her eureka light bulb moment. Right. Well, good. So it starts with declaring what you want to be if you're not there yet. What you'd like to be, what you'd like to experience, what you used to want to be as a kid. You make that statement out loud to yourself. You write it down somewhere. We had gone over a list of I'm a writer, I'm a dancer, inventor. That's where we ended. So you speak it and you let it know you're there. You let you know that this is what you want. And then everything that keeps you from getting it will start to rise up and get in your face. Like that's a different conversation. So hearing the announcement, your soul will mobilize accordingly. So you're in a sailboat. Now, I know nothing about sailboats other than the concept. I've never been on one, and I will never be on one. But it makes sense to me. You're sailing around on the water, and you're using the wind as your guide. The wind has to be, it's there all the time, and how you set your sail is which direction you go. The wind doesn't care which direction you go. It's just doing its wind thing. Well, it sounds pretty cool, but I'm too scared of boats to get on. I'm not there yet. But the wind's always blowing, and you can harness it for your good, or you can set your sails crooked and make a big mess and drown and get eaten by sharks. Who knows? Whatever. But you know what I mean. Like, as soon as you set your sail, that's what this is talking about. Hearing the announcement of, I want to go there. Right. Yes. I want to go that way. You set your sail and you start going that way. That's what she means when the soul will mobilize itself. It will mobilize ecstatically because this is what your soul was born for. We talked about this, but you have to be the one to start that conversation, and then you have to feel entitled to stay in that conversation. So we talked about Okay, proclamation of intent and entitlement is not something you can do once and then expect miracles. It's something you must do daily, forever. Right? This is what the message I was getting in 2014, like, hey, dummy, you've got all these skills and all this information, and you only apply it when things are bad. And then things get good again, and they get good quick because you're using these tools. Why don't you just keep using the tools, even when things are good, and see if they can be gooder? See if you can find more good than you've ever experienced. So it's hard to conceptualize that. But as soon as I did start using them every day, daily, without fail, life has changed, and it's changing rapidly. And it continues to change and grow and get better. It's incredible to me. I feel like, why in the world didn't I do this before? You do expect miracles, I think. But you have to do these things daily, forever. It doesn't end. There is no end goal. Yeah, we like gooder. I've had to keep defining and defending myself as a writer every single day of my adult life, constantly reminding and re-reminding my soul and the cosmos that I'm very serious about the business of creative living, that I will never stop creating no matter what the outcome, no matter how deep my anxieties and insecurities may be. I can't recommend enough that with this book you read The War of Art, if you haven't read it already, and Turning Pro, both by Stephen Pressfield. They go hand in hand with this, and they're both remarkable books. Okay, over time I found the right tone of voice for these assertions. It's best to be insistent but affable. Repeat yourself, but don't get shrill about it. Speak to your darkest and most negative interior voices the way a hostage negotiator speaks to a violent psychopath. Hello. Calmly but firmly. Most of all, never back down. You can't afford to back down. The life you are negotiating to save, after all, is your own. You take the same never back down approach as you take when you're training a dog or a toddler. They're not that much different. One's just hairier. You know that there's a non-negotiable feeling to, yes, you say, I come in peace and I'm not backing down. And it's just calm. And it's just certain. It's very rock solid and steady. Dog equals toddler. Yeah, and so you know, if you let the dog/toddler get over on you even once, you're going to have to work hard to undo it. When the toddler is screaming for the cookie and you give her the cookie, then the next day she's going to scream harder for the cookie. And if you say no, you've got a battle on your hands because you gave in. You can't give in with yourself either. For me, one day off of a daily practice and I can backslide. Now, I don't know what would happen these days, but I'm not risking it. Before, one single day off, and I could find a reason not to do the second day, and then the third day, and then I'd be right back in the shitter where I started. So, it's that non-negotiable, calm, firm, but loving, hey, Catherine, just like when you're training kids. Your kid is not allowed to run into the street. Your dog is not allowed to run into the street. You don't allow it. We've just been talking for maybe less than 10 minutes, I think. I do too, Erin, really bad. I can talk myself out of nearly anything. Well, love, no. We're talking about how, Catherine, when you make a declaration to change your life, you have to have that calm, non-negotiable state that you have with children and dogs in certain areas. That's the problem, is we'll be consistent with our kids in certain areas, and then we'll waffle around, and they get over on us in other areas. And I'm not talking about harsh rigidity. I'm talking about that calmness that the kid doesn't go in the street, period. It's a non-negotiable. You don't allow your toddler to run in the street, and you know that feeling. As opposed to the toddler can kind of push and push and push, and you might end up giving him a cookie. Not me, because I don't believe in that. But the girls have already had Cheetos and pizza, so. Calm and steadfast, yes. Gentle but firm, perfect. You guys know the feeling I'm talking about. There are things that you absolutely will not allow. This is the same. If you say, I'm determined to notice the great things in my life, along with the negative things in my life. I'm determined to allow myself full acceptance of whatever I'm feeling. I'm determined to live an authentic life. I'm determined to feel this all that is creativity thing that she's talking about here. If I've never felt it before, I'm determined to feel it. And you say it every day, and you do something to support it every day, even if it's only 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes becomes the non-negotiable. Yeah, acknowledge and accept, and then move on. What was that little 4A thing that I posted? Acknowledge that it's happening, accept it, then aspire towards something better. The acceptance has to come before it will shift. And the acceptance can come in acknowledging, and then appreciating. That was one of them, appreciating. But it's every day, 5 minutes. If you can only do 5 minutes, if you can only do 1 minute of getting up in the morning and saying, I'm determined to live this way, do it. It's the everyday that counts. It's not the time. Yes, Tanya, thank you. Inspired action. Acknowledge it, accept it, aspire towards something better or different or more in line with you, and then take action when you feel that heart gut impulse to take action, and not until then. Get non-negotiable about some kind of daily practice, because the life you are negotiating to save, after all, is your own. No one's going to do it for you. No one's going to bring you into line with these potentially ecstatic experiences. It's not ecstatic all the time, but it's nice to not get blown over by the winds more than a few minutes, maybe a few hours, which is what it's like for me now. I'm hoping at some point it will be a few moments that I'll just get knocked off kilter. I don't expect to never get knocked off center. Life, terrible things happen. Really good things happen and can knock you off center. The point is your daily declaration and your non-negotiable determination to have a more authentic life or creative life is what keeps you steady when the winds are blowing. So who the hell do you think you are? Your darkest interior voices will demand. We all know that one, don't we? Who do you think you are to have a better life? Pfft. Children are starving in Africa. If you don't feed yourself, you can't feed hungry people in Africa either. Well, it's funny you should ask. You can reply, I'll tell you who I am. I am a child of God just like anyone else. I am a constituent of this universe. I have invisible spirit benefactors who believe in me and who labor alongside me. The fact that I am here at all is evidence that I have the right to be here. I have a right to my own voice and a right to my own vision. I have a right to collaborate with creativity because I myself am a product and a consequence of creation. I'm on a mission of artistic liberation, so let the girl go. See? Now you're the one doing the talking. Originality versus authenticity. Maybe you fear you're not original enough. This is a very common conversation. It's a trap that I myself have been caught in. Maybe that's the problem. You're worried that your ideas are commonplace and pedestrian and therefore unworthy of creation. Aspiring writers will often tell me, I have an idea, but I'm afraid it's already been done. Well, it has already been done. Most likely whatever you're thinking about doing has already been done. Most things have already been done, but they have not been done by you. I tell this to people all the time. You are unique. You are a different snowflake than the snowflake standing next to you. It's never been done by you, with your voice, with your color. By the time Shakespeare was finished with his run on life, he'd pretty much covered every storyline there is. But that hasn't stopped nearly 5 centuries of writers from exploring the same storylines all over again. And remember, many of those stories were already cliches long before Shakespeare got his hands on them. When Picasso saw the ancient cave paintings at Lascaux, I think it's called, I may be pronouncing it, it's in France, he reportedly said, we have learned nothing in 12,000 years, which is probably true, but so what? So what? Every movie you've ever seen is the same storyline. The hero's journey story, it's the same thing. Or it's the slice of life story that ends and you're like, what the hell just happened? Like James Joyce wrote, Dubliners is all slice of life stuff. And you're like, what was the point of that? But then later I was like, well, the point was a slice of someone's life. To look at it and explore it and experience life through another set of eyes. There wasn't any point. It was just a moment in time. When I first read Dubliners, I was like, well, that was a bunch of crap. And then I read it again later and was like, no, it's not crap at all. It's cool. But it's been done. It's all been done. The hero's journey story is done again every day. Every day. So that's not a valid excuse to not create, is that somebody else has already drawn a bunch of flowers. They weren't your flowers. So what if we circle around the same ideas again and again, generation after generation? And so what if every new generation feels the same urges and asks the same questions that humans have been feeling and asking for years? We're all related after all, so there's going to be some repetition of creative instinct. Everything reminds us of something, right? We see patterns everywhere. That's the way we're designed. We see something and then our mind starts making connections, like that spider web effect where you see an object and your brain starts connecting it to every other object you've ever seen like it. Once you've put your own expression and passion behind an idea, that idea becomes yours. The older I get, the less impressed I become with originality. These days I'm far more moved by authenticity. Attempts at originality can often feel forced and precious, but authenticity has quiet resonance that never fails to stir me. Goodbye. Have a great day. Love you. Just say what you want to say. Then say it with all your heart. Listen to John Mayer if you need to. The song that says, say what you need to say like 5,000 times. Over and over. Why is that song so popular? Because we want that permission. We want to say what we need to say. And we have to hear it, I guess, 500 times in a song and get it stuck in our head. And then maybe someday we'll actually say what we want to say. Share whatever you are driven to share. If it's authentic enough, believe me, it will feel original. I'm going to read one more because I underlined so much of this next one. I actually underlined quite a bit of it. So this section is called Motives, and if you have the book, we're now on page 98. Here's another thing. You're not required to save the world with your creativity. Your art not only doesn't have to be original, it doesn't even have to be important. Yes, definitely. But we don't have to wait. Those of us who've gotten to the age or development where we're comfortable saying what we need to say can start doing a better job, I think, of encouraging the people younger than us of you don't have to wait until you're 40, 45, 50, 60 to start saying what you need to say. You can start it now. You don't have to wait. I don't know that we've done a very good job, of handing that gift backwards to the people younger than us. So I know there's people on here older than me, and I'm 49, I'll be 50 this year. But I don't know that we've done a great job of teaching our kids that. I didn't. I mean, I kind of did, but looking back, I mean, I did teach Morgan to, advocate for herself and to make a good argument. She can outdo, I think I did. I mean, I don't have a lot of regrets, but I could have done more with the kids I was working with. I gave them some. I could have given them more. And that's part of why I do this every day, is I want to, if people who are younger are watching and can get that message sooner and start putting into practice sooner, why shouldn't they? So part of these daily scopes are my own personal accountability to myself, and part of it is on the random chance that somebody will see. You might have if someone had supported you through the process. I mean, we hear it, but we don't have people coaching us through the process. when we're younger. Like we hear it a lot. Background noise. But the concept of mentors, we weren't mentored. Yeah. We don't do mentorship very well. And the kids these days also put up with it a lot less. It's kind of hard to quiet them up because they were born into a greater level of freedom. Yeah, I don't have regrets. I didn't mean it that way. Like, yes, and I know better and I do better. So I know better now. I can do better of getting it out there and mentoring, doing a better job of mentoring. Like, no, I'm serious. This isn't just a Facebook meme. It's something you can actually put into practice. And if you do, it's going to work great for you. And here's how you do it. Yes, I agree. So, for example, here's her example. Yes, I agree, Linda. For when anybody tells me they want to write a book in order to help other people, I always think, oh, please don't. Please don't let that be your motive for creation, is to help other people. Please don't try to help me. I mean, it's very kind of you to want to help people, but please don't make it your sole creative motive, because we will feel the weight of your heavy intention. Good morning. We will feel the weight of your heavy intention, and it will put a strain upon our souls. It reminds me of this wonderful adage from the British columnist Catherine Whitehorn. You can recognize the people who live for others. Thank you. By the haunted look on the faces of the others. Okay, I'm going to read that again. It's kind of you to want to help other people, but don't make it your sole creative motive, because we will feel the weight of your heavy intention, and it will put a strain upon our souls. The quote is by Catherine Whitehorn. Do it for yourself. You can recognize the people who live for others by the haunted look on the faces of the others. I would so much rather you wrote a book in order to entertain yourself than to help me. Catherine with a K. Katharine Whitehorn. Victim and Advocacy 101. Yes. Please be an advocate for victims, because it is what your soul wants you to do, not to save other people. The minute you slip into savior complex, not only are you screwed, but the clients you're trying to serve are screwed, because they aren't getting, they aren't getting a pure, authentic, agendaless helping. If you're helping with an agenda, it's twisted and distorted, and you need to go work at a law office and be a paralegal or do something until you can learn to be a victim's advocate or a therapist or a social worker without slapping your agenda on and your own personal experiences on everybody you meet. The best training I ever got was that my perception of the world is different. Can you go live live everywhere? Live everywhere, live everywhere? Or a friend or a family member? It applies to everyone. Yes. Yes, absolutely. The best training I ever got was to take my perceptions of the world off of everybody else. Just because I would experience pain in a situation as in not just your job. Yeah, you can't save anyone in your life. Yeah, it's not just your job. Co-empowered relationships. Ooh, that's a good way to put it. Let's have co-empowered relationships, not codependent relationships. Or master-slave relationships, which unfortunately a lot of them can turn into. Or dictator. I like co-empowered. I like that a lot. I'm actually going to write that down. This is why, as you go this is why as you go, you learn to ask questions instead of making statements. Oh, you're just blah, blah, blah. You say, it looks like this. Is it? How are you feeling? This thing just happened. What's going on for you? What's happening inside of you? Can I ask you that? And you don't have to answer. I'll say that a lot. I'll ask questions and then I'll say, you don't have to answer that. I have a natural tendency to ask questions. But no one has ever owes me an answer unless it's my husband. Don't listen. Shh. Don't tell husbands this. I do it a lot because when we get asked a question we feel responsible to answer, it's not our responsibility to answer. I don't want to squish my own energy and stop asking questions. It's who I am. But I do always want that disclaimer, like, I'm going to ask a lot of questions. You don't have to answer any of them, and I'm going to be fine with that. And I'll say that to people who ask me questions. If I don't want to answer, I say, I don't want to answer that right now. Yes. Oh, yeah, got some good words there. Sacred curiosity. Yep. I want to know because I'm interested in people, because I love knowing how they move in the world, because it helps me know myself. But you have to take that agenda off people and ask more questions. That was the point of all that, is we don't know how other people's feels. We don't know other people's feels. We don't. We know what it's like for us to experience a death or a loss. We don't know what it's like for other people. When we see that they've experienced the loss, we remember what it felt like for us. But we do not know. That's great, Cynthia. You tell the kids I work with that part of their job in therapy is to speak up and tell me when they don't want to answer. Yes, perfect training. Perfectly empowering training. So you have to ask, oh my gosh, when I lost my parent, I felt like this. So that's how loss was for me. I don't know if that's how you're feeling, but I'm here for you. Yeah. So at Natural Grace is Cynthia, and she works with children up in Vancouver, abused children. So she's in child protection. So extra blessings. You teach them their boundaries have been violated, and you're teaching them how to get them back. Okay. Those kids, yes, they're constantly forced to tell everything to adults. So Cynthia gives them a place to learn that they don't always have to, that they do still have a voice of their own, that even though their bodies may have been taken over by others, they can reclaim them, and then they can reclaim their interior space. So I, and me too, would rather you wrote a book to entertain yourself, or made a mala, or created jewelry, or made crochet. Do it because it's fun for you. When you do it because of a hidden agenda or an overt agenda, it's ruined. It might still be nice, but it's not a fully authentic, powerful thing that it could be. If your subject matter is darker and more serious, I would prefer that you made your art or tap dance because you love it, not because you think the seniors can't entertain themselves. Or the hospital kids. Do you go to hospitals for kids? Erin tap dances, and she makes adorable costumes. They're not really costumes. Outfits? Dancers' suits? No? I think the kids would like it if you came and tap danced for them. If your subject matter is darker and more serious, I would prefer that you made your art in order to save yourself or to relieve yourself of some great psychic burden rather than to save or relieve us. Expressive arts therapist. Yay! Yes, perfect. Did you friend me on Facebook? Was that yet? Or was that somebody else? If y'all haven't found me on Facebook, it's facebook.com/L Michelle Wolf. 2 L's, 2 F's. Feel free to join me there. I once wrote a book in order to save myself. I wrote a travel memoir in order to make sense of my own journey and my own emotional confusion. All I was trying to do with that book was figure myself out. Is this sounding familiar? In the process, though, I wrote a story that apparently helped a lot of other people figure themselves out, but it was never my intention. If I had sat down to write Eat, Pray, Love with the sole aim of helping others, I would have produced an entirely different book. I might even have produced a book that was insufferably unreadable. Okay. Admittedly, a lot of critics found Eat, Pray, Love insufferably unreadable as it was, but that's not my point. My point is I wrote that book for my own purposes. And maybe that's why it felt genuine and ultimately even helpful to many readers. I found her book insufferably unreadable at first, too. I struggled with the first few chapters, but I just felt like there was enough good there that I got through it, and it was good. It was a great book. But in the beginning, I was like, oh, wah. Whatever. I haven't seen the movie. Is it good? She wrote that book for herself, and look what happened. I'll watch it. Consider this very book, for example, what you are now reading, holding in your hands. Big Magic. Yeah, try again. I tried Eat, Pray, Love. Actually, I tried twice before I was able to get through it. I wasn't able to make it more of a third of the way through the first 2 times because I was really hung up on well, who wouldn't be able to process their pain if they could afford to take a year off and travel? So what? Whatever. I was jealous, actually. The truth of it is I was horribly jealous. Oh, gosh, no. I know a lot of people who struggled with it, and a lot of critics struggled with it. They were like, she's a self-indulgent white girl who has a lot of money, so who wouldn't be able to do this stuff if they had the money to go travel? Yeah, blah, blah. I had those same thoughts. And I put that book down twice before I finished it. Might as well be honest. To be dishonest takes too much energy. I'm way too lazy for that. Was it? Yeah, I think it triggered, for me, it triggered a lot of jealousy. Like, I wanted to be able to do that when I got divorced. Who wouldn't want to be able to do that? At that point, I think when I first got the book, I was just barely getting by now too, but, I wasn't doing so great. So I was jealous. But I wasn't jealous when I read the Tuscany book by is it Francis somebody? Under the Tuscan Sun. I was a little jealous, but not the same as Eat, Pray, Love. So Big Magic is obviously a self-help guide, right? But with all due respect and affection, I did not write this book for you. I wrote it for me. I wrote this book for my own pleasure because I truly enjoy thinking about the subject of creativity. It's enjoyable and useful for me to meditate on this topic. If what I've written here ends up helping you, that's great, and I will be glad. That would be a wonderful side effect, but at the end of the day, I do what I do because I like doing it. Same with Periscope. The people who get on and are scoping because they love the subject matter, they love talking about what they talk about, they're way more interesting, and I tend to follow those people more and listen more because you can tell just their natural enthusiasm. I wouldn't talk about anything on Periscope that I didn't love talking about because that would be wasting my time and yours, and you'd know I had a hidden agenda. You'd know that I was talking about a subject because I wanted you to buy something, like I'd have a hook there, and you'd feel it. I would hope. I mean, I think y'all are all sensitive. You would pick that up. Sensitive enough. And I think you pick it up when other scopers are using Periscope as a sales pitch. Yeah, if you're sensitive at all, it's usually pretty easy to pick up when someone's trying to sell you something. So I scope every day for myself, and I've been incredibly honored that so many people have benefited from it and find benefit in it. in these daily scopes, but ultimately they're for me. If ever a time came that I was like starting to hate doing this, I wouldn't do it anymore. That's not today though. Sometimes I drag my feet about getting over here to do it, but I always love it. Thank you. We're creating a group energy here. It doesn't work without us. Thanks. Thank you. I try to aim before noon. Sometimes it's a little closer to the noon side. Okay, so I have a friend who's a nun who has spent her entire life working to help the homeless of Philadelphia. She is something close to a living saint. She's a tireless advocate for the poor and the suffering, the lost and abandoned. But do you know why her charitable, yes, group wisdom? There's much more power in the group than me by myself, and I love that. It's definitely a mutual energy exchange here. The reason her charitable outreach is so effective is because she likes doing it. It's enjoyable for her. Otherwise it wouldn't work. Otherwise it would be martyrdom. Long ago, ahoy! Those dang tiny keyboards. You know when someone is helping because they love it. And you know when someone is doing it as their duty and they're a jaw-clenched martyr. And martyrs tend to let you know that they are killing themselves for you. Like, I've done all this for you. The classic stereotype of a Jewish mom. All this I've done for you. I was in labor for 26 hours. You don't appreciate anything. And I'm killing myself. And, yeah, well, that's not on me. A jaw-clenching martyr. Yeah. Sister Mary Scullion is no martyr. She's a cheerful soul who's having a wonderful time, living out the existence that best suits her nature and most brings her to life. Avoid martyrs at all costs. Don't be one yourself. And if you run into a martyr, run the other way, because you don't want their hooks. You don't want them to get their hooks into you. They're very hard to unhook once they're there. It just so happens she takes care of a lot of other people in the process, but everyone can sense her genuine enjoyment behind the mission, which is ultimately why her presence is so healing. Because it's her. It's her authentic expression of God in the world. So there's a purity there. It's clean. It's uncomplicated. There's no hidden agenda. So the full force of her particular brand of love and compassion can envelop everyone around her. That's my ideal. That's the ideal for me. It's okay if your work is fun for you, is what I'm saying. It's also okay if your work is healing for you, or fascinating, or redemptive, or if it's just a hobby that keeps you from going crazy. It's even okay if your work is totally frivolous. That's allowed. It's all allowed. Your own reasons to create are reason enough. Merely by pursuing what you love, you may inadvertently end up helping us plenty. That is law of attraction right there. That is how life reveals itself to you. That's where those serendipity, synchronicity incidents come from. When you're in pursuit of things that make you feel whole and connected, then everything else comes from that. Start there. Start with increasing your own connection, and then use that as a compass. Use that as your sextant to guide by the stars of what makes you feel alive. That's all you have to do, and you will help everyone around you. Everyone who comes into contact with you will get a little dose of that authentic, amazing energy. And you won't even know that you impacted most of the people that you impact, but you will, I promise. Just pursue what you love. There is no love which does not become help, taught the theologian Paul Tillich, Tillich. There is no love which does not become help. It's a byproduct. If it's your goal, you're off kilter. Make love your goal, and then you help others as a natural byproduct. Do whatever brings you to life. Follow your own fascinations, obsessions, and compulsions. Trust them. The desire map stuff, it says all the time, trust that desire. Trust it. Follow it. Use it as a light in the dark. Use it as the pointing for true north. Create whatever causes a revolution in your heart, and the rest will take care of itself. I can't emphasize that enough. A daily practice of getting in touch with what you love starts a process. Yeah, I do desire map workshops online, by phone. I would do them in person, but I was never able to get them off the ground in person. For some reason, they've been very successful. Well, more successfuler on the phone, but in person, I was never able to get it rolling. But I do them on every 5 weeks, once a week on the phone, a couple hours, level 1 and level 2. But it's magnetic. You're setting an anchor. You're creating... Yeah, I don't feel drawn to do that at this particular moment. I like this other stuff. I'm afraid if I did it on Periscope too, then I'd burn out, and I would want to stop doing them. There's a workshop starting soon. If you wanted it, I'd have to know today though, because I'd have to go put your stuff in the mail by tomorrow. Can someone put up for me the link to the Next Desire workshop? It's www.feelings.eventbrite.com. Actually, I have it right here. It has a little tea juice on it and a muddy paw print. So there's some muddy cat prints and some tea. Feelings.eventbrite.com. Muddy feets. Tea bag stain. Thank you. Feelings.eventbrite.com. Lower, higher. Feelings.eventbrite.com. If you have the ability to sign up today, do it, and I'll put your stuff in the mail this afternoon. And it starts Tuesday. Check out the details there. Feelings.eventbrite.com. I'd love to have you. Erin's going to be there. Cindy is going to be there. She's on a Hatha vibe. Are you on here, Cindy? I don't think she is. And who else? Cindy, Erin. Oh, and Silvana, Linda's sister. Lindita Hazel's sister. So I'd love to have a fourth. But you check it out and let me know. As long as I knew before tomorrow morning, because I actually probably could put it in the mail tomorrow morning and it would get to you in time, depending on where you're at. I don't know where you are. I think most of the people on here are graduates of my workshops. Or in the process of taking it. Toronto. I'd have to put it in today, and I think it would probably get to you by Tuesday. Yeah, I'd have to know today, though, then. Because I'd run it down this afternoon and send it priority to you, and it should be there by Tuesday. What I did for people, Silvana lives in Guatemala, so I loaded up electronic versions in case her materials didn't get to her in time. You get a workbook, 2 samples of essential oils, a new journal, some art cards for a project, a hard copy of the workbook, too. This. You get this Desire Map Workshop, which takes you through the whole book. And that's what we spend 5 weeks doing. Oh, it's getting hot in here. Wow. Still looking for it? You signed up late and didn't have mine on the first meeting. It was fine. Yeah. Yeah. You can also find me on Facebook. The link is posted there. Hold on. Let me put that up. Book.com L. Michelle. Ugh. My name is so long. I should have turned the paper sideways. There is not. But you do get ongoing once a month phone calls. That could be level 3, putting it into practice. Co-empowered relationships. Going to one of my workshops gets you a Facebook group forever and a once a month group support call forever. A level 3. Level 3 would just be more of level 2, putting stuff into practice and support while you're making changes. Lots of support forever. Once the workshop is over, that's not the end of it. I have people in the last workshop still needing support because they were having to go through it at a slower pace. So I actually probably will need to put together a phone call for that group because there's several that are going through at a slower pace. And that's okay. That's okay. I don't want to teach people and then say, okay, you're done. Off with you. Forever calls and connections as long as you want them. So, let's pull a card real quick. Oh my gosh, it's hot. Would you turn that heater off? Let me open that window. Our house is too hot with the heater on, but cold with it off. Let's pull a quick card and then I'll sign off because I do need to get, there's like 500 things I need to get done. But I haven't pulled a card yet today for myself. So let's do a group card. And thank you so much for hearts and your presence. Really was what I thank you most for is your presence. Okay, bye. Have a great day. Me too. Me too. So on my Facebook page is that Blue Lotus that Ben created. And he's creating a series of 4. Can you imagine the loss to the world if he wasn't creating again? His work impacts a lot of people. Okay, take care. Card. Oh, incredible. Incredible. And if he hadn't created that and put it out in the world, we wouldn't have all benefited from the seeing of it. Okay, we have the Horse King, but it came up... No, I'm going to frame it. I'm going to take it straight down and put it in a frame. We got Horse King, but it did come up reversed. This way. So I'll read both of them. The Horse King is assistance and control. Well, this could be interesting. Horses are interesting. You can force control, but you sure will regret it. Okay, the challenger side. The Horse King wants you to know why you think you can do everything by yourself. Why do you think that? Keeping control of everything around you is counterproductive and exhausting. You may lose an opportunity if you insist on being stubborn. The Horse King is patient, however, and will wait for you to come to your senses and accept the help you need. First, you have to ask for help. Don't forget that part. You won't be able to reach your goal otherwise. Yes, okay, so the Horse King says all it takes is a decision to jump on his back, ask for help, and graciously allow yourself to be carried to your destination. Let go of control and amazing things can happen for you. And it's easy to say, well, just let go. Well, what does that look like? What that looks like is when you catch yourself worrying about something, you shift your attention to something else. If you know what your core desired feelings are, or even if you don't know, you can say, I'm feeling like I need to clutch onto everything and everyone around me. What would I rather feel instead? I'd rather feel peace. I'd rather feel love. Is there anyone out there that can help me feel peaceful? Anyone? Is there anything? I'm literally telling you what I do for myself when I get like this. I choose peace. I'll say this out loud sometimes. Yes. I'll say, I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel this desperation in the pit of my stomach. I don't want to feel this grasping pressure in my chest. I don't want to feel desperate for whatever it is I'm feeling desperate for. It's facebook.com/L Michelle Wolf. 2 L's and 2 F's. What would I rather feel right now? I'd rather feel relief. You're welcome. And hi. I'd rather feel relaxed. That's how I'd rather feel right now. So let me take a deep breath. Let me take several deep breaths. Let me remind myself, I call it giving myself a good talking to. I remind myself that I don't have control over all the things around me. The only thing I have control over is what is happening right here, right now. And I can feel pretty helpless and powerless when I get like that. And so I remind myself that I have power over my breathing. I have the ability to make a choice to take 5 minutes and do some deep breathing, to take 10 minutes and go for a walk if I can. Sometimes I don't feel like I can give myself 10 minutes. But I can give myself 3 minutes even if I have to go hide in a bathroom somewhere to do some deep breathing. I can do that. I can smell an oil if I've got one that works for me to calm down. I can say a quick prayer. I can do a quick mantra chant if there's something. Sometimes I would just chant the word love over and over. Sometimes I would just chant the word peace over and over. When you're freaking out, you can't handle a bunch of complicated instructions, right? When you're freaking out, if you can just remind yourself to exhale. Because if you're freaking out, you're holding your breath. I'm going to change it right now. I'm going to change it right now while we're talking. When you're freaking out, you're holding your breath. Oh, great. The first thing that you have got to do to stop that cycle of desperation and grabbiness is exhale. Exhale. Let your breath out. Then take a deeper breath in. And then you'll go from there. When you get 3 deep breaths under your belt, what you need to do will usually come to mind. And if nothing else, you can give your body a break. Does that make sense? You got to start so small. You have to start so tiny. Baby steps. The babiest of baby steps, and yet the most powerful one, is breathing. All right, let me pull this up, and I'm going to switch it right now while we're talking. Do you have, what else works for you guys? Breathing. What do you do when you're freaking out? What do you do for yourself? When I was in social work, a lot of times all I could do was go in the bathroom and cry. Feet flat on the floor while breathing, very good reminder for grounding. Emotion code release, I don't know what that is. Deep breathing is extremely powerful. And putting your feet flat on the floor is really a good reminder, because that will ground you. Calling my husband, he's patient. Byron Katie it. Ask if my freaked out thoughts are true. Good. Is it really true? Do I really need to do this? Koya shaking is where you just stand and shake your body however your body wants to go. Whatever you can do to just move the energy in your body. Take a walk, shake. Hands on belly. Breathe deep into the belly. And exhale hard at the end. We overlook these tools because they sound so simple. Check in with inner child. It is fixed. Just breathing these example breathings while we've been doing this has already helped. It's already making me feel even calmer. And I felt pretty calm to begin with. Breathing deep and oxygenating your body is something that we should be doing every day anyway. All right, let me try and fix it again. Thank you for being patient with me while I do this. when we oxygenate, when we feel okay, we'll feel more okay. It gives your brain a boost. It gives your whole life a boost. If you can remember to breathe while someone's driving you nuts. Oh. Okay, I did it wrong. Now I did it right. And okay, for anybody going to the feelings.eventbrite.com site, it is fixed. It's fixed. If you're in the States, literally the very last day I could send something out would be Friday. If you're okay with getting your materials late, that's fine. I can get them to Canada by Tuesday. If not, it would probably be, I'll put them in the mail today though. It snaps you out of your story, right? It helps you start deconstructing the story that you're telling yourself about whatever is happening, which usually is not even true. All right, that link is fixed. So, last chance. Last chance for now. I don't have another level 1 schedule, but I'm sure I will. And this is how I make a living. Feelings.eventbrite.com plus cat paw prints and tea stains. I had my tea bag sitting on this paper. And then you can find me at caddyshackdesigns.com or facebook.com/L Michelle Wolf. Kitty approved. I will keep this paper forever. When I got home, I had cat paw prints all over my laptop. And they're big. Look how big those feet are. That's Tonka. Yay! Those feet are giant. Look, for comparison, look how big that foot is. Tonka has the biggest feet ever. I'll need your address to get your stuff in the mail today to you. And I'll need you to friend me on Facebook so I can put you in the Facebook group where there are electronic copies just in case your materials don't get to you on time. Boop, 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 boop. All right. So, there it is. Is it Carolyn or Caroline? Yes. Yeah. What? I mailed them Thursday. Wait. I mailed them Monday. The tag said it should have gotten to you yesterday. Has your mail come yet today? I have the tracking numbers. Is it Caroline or Carolyn? Okay, if it's not there today, will you let me know and I'll look up the tracking number. Tanya's were late too and they should have been. Oh, Caro. Gotcha. You've said that before. Well, welcome. And I'll package that up right now. Right this minute. So you'll be in with Erin, Cindy, who's Anahata Vibe, and Silvana, who is Linda's sister. There you are. Cool. And there's Carrie. Confirm. Okay. I'm going to put the link up with the cat prints one more time in case someone is last minute. This happens every time, and it's okay by me. I'm prepared for it. I always pre-prepare packets for last minute signups because this happens every time. Feelings.eventbrite.com. Love to have you. It is very powerful women in that group. Every one of them is powerful. And there's your address. Thank you. Oh, it's coming now. Okay. Thanks. Yes, you'll see them in the alumni group. You'll see them in the, you'll hear them on the call. Or you could sit in if you wanted to. If you've, I'm not going to send new stuff, but if you, That is an idea I've wondered if people would find it helpful to have previous attendees kind of auditing the class. Oops, there you are. Okay, good. It'll go out today. I'll do it right now. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to wrap up because I need to get this in the mail now. And I'm so glad you joined us. I do too. Love you too. What?
Going to test it.
Okay, I have to go to town. Do you want to go? In about an hour.
Maybe.
Hour and a half. Okay, bye. Talk to you tomorrow. Love you. Hold on a second.